this resource, when we spoke to teachers to understand what they needed and what they wanted in a resource, was the biggest thing was something to save time. Everyone, and I'm sure all of you here this afternoon don't need me to tell you that teachers' biggest challenge is one of the things that always comes up for us is time. Everyone needs more time. And so that was essentially what we focused on with how we put all of these resources together, so that essentially lessons can be planned in a way that everything is done as much as possible. And everything's already there, ready to go. So one of the key things, as you see here, is that everything is downloadable and editable. We also include separate versions with answers. So this was a key thing that people had asked of us, is that they want to have the version with answers they can access easily, but also the version that's already ready to just be printed and given to a student without the answers, so that they can do worksheets or chapter tests or whatever it is they're working on, and the teacher's not having to kind of manually delete answers or anything like that. So you can see here just how a little snapshot of what that looks like in our teacher resource. So this is within the online teaching suite. There's actually just a zip file you can download that has all of the answers available. So this example is for chapter tests, but it's also the same for worksheets and things like that. Practicals can all be downloaded as downloadable PDFs. They can be edited, everything like that. So we've just tried to make everything as flexible as possible so it can be customized as it needs to. We've also got, for example, worksheets. So this is a year 7 versus a year 10 worksheet. You'll also see with all of the formatted worksheets that are just ready to print out, these are all actually very carefully leveled as well, so that if you do need to differentiate your students in real time, you can give them some pointers, like, for example, just answer questions 1, 2, and 4 or whatever. These little graph icons you can see beside each question actually specify to you what level each question is in the worksheets and in the chapter tests. So it's just a really subtle way to kind of indicate, you know, if a question's quite challenging. If you've got a student that's struggling and you don't want them looking at the really challenging stuff yet, you can just focus them on that kind of lower order thinking and the easier questions. So in these examples, you can see in the year 7 sheet, those 2 questions about graphing data are easy questions. And in the year 10 one, you can see question 1 is easy and question 2 and 3 are in that middle range, so slightly higher order thinking. So that's all been done for you. That's all completely leveled out. The leveling also appears in our online test generator. So you can filter by levels 1, 2, and 3, and then create tests as you need to at different levels if you need to vary that for your students. The other thing, we have teaching programs to make lesson planning as easy as possible. So these list out the time required for each lesson, all of the resources that we have for both the students and the teachers in the digital resources. So that's all provided in Word documents so that you can edit that as you need to. We do acknowledge we provide a lot of resources and we don't expect teachers to need to use every single thing we supply, but we just cover all of the examples in the curriculum. We provide activities on all of it so that you can pick and choose what you want to cover and how you want to cover those descriptions. So the teaching programs can all be modified to kind of suit what you need. We've also got PowerPoint chapter summaries for each chapter. So these are presented in a way that they can just be projected and used for classes. Again, because it's in PowerPoint, it's editable, so you can change it, delete things as you need to. I think we've got an example there from year 10. So it's a little bit of what they look like. So they'll always have the section heading at the top so you can see which part of the book that this is relating to, or the interactive textbook, depending on how you're using it. And we also, the way we've structured all of our books, and this is similar to the first edition, so it will be familiar to anyone who's already using our resources, we do have learning goals at the start of every section of every chapter. The learning goals, we've tried to make these a little bit more concise and simplified so that they are accessible to students. We all know literacy is quite a big challenge at the moment, so we want to be able to get the science across without literacy holding students back. So these have been formatted the same way. So you can see a print to digital textbook comparison there. So that's a view of the student interactive textbook for the same section that you're seeing there. So the print book, you'll also notice there's icons there to indicate if there's worksheets or videos that are relevant to the content, and they'll also appear in the digital resources so the students can watch that video. It's got captions and everything. They can download worksheets as they need to. And the teacher has access to those versions with answers, as I said before. All of those learning goals at the start of each section as well, most importantly, are all collated at the end of the chapter in the form of success criteria. So this checklist can also be downloaded. You can access that on the interactive textbook as well. And all of the questions in the chapter review are linked directly to it so that students can just tick off as they go when they've hit their success criteria. That downloadable version that you can see, there's a little link to it on the screen. That will download a version that has a checkbox, so you can just print it out and give it to students so that they can check things off as they go. And then lastly, we also, something that's new to this edition that we're pretty excited about is our adaptive pre and post testing that we've created. So again, this is really, really useful for differentiation, but the most powerful thing about this is that it actually automatically adapts as your students answer questions. So this means you don't need to customize a different test for every student depending on their ability. You just assign in our learning management system the same test to every student, and it will show them different questions depending on how they answer. So there's a little simplified diagram here to kind of take you through that a little bit. So you can see on the left here, we've got level 1, 2, and 3. So the levels, it's obviously a simplified way of looking at it as just 1, 2, and 3. We are talking about that higher and lower order thinking. So every student in the first topic will start with a level 2 question. If they get that question wrong, the next question they see is the level 1 question in the same topic. So it gives them that extra opportunity to try and get the right answer, but at a lower level. If they get it right, then they're going to be shown the hardest question in that topic to see if they can really show that they're actually beyond what they were already being taught and that they already know. This is really powerful because it means that you're going to get really comprehensive results of exactly where each student is sitting without having to actually put any effort into how you customize that. So we really hope that this is going to save people a lot of time, that it's going to make this sort of thing much, much easier. A pre-test can be assigned before you start a topic or halfway through, the same way if you've used pre and post testing before, you can use it in that same way. And then the post-test will show different questions in the same topic so that that removes that risk of students just kind of remembering a question from a few weeks ago and then answering the same. It's a different question, but it's exactly the same level and the same topic so that it's still assessing that same kind of success criteria. So you'll see so this is just a snapshot of what that reporting actually looks like in our learning management system. So you can see the color coding to show whether they've gotten them wrong, if they've got the medium right and the easy one wrong, etc. It shows you that for each student. And this view at the moment, so this is showing the view that aligns to our resources, to our textbooks. But you can toggle this to curriculum view as well. So obviously our books are aligned to the curriculum, so you can toggle between the two views and it will show the breakdown of topics within either a chapter or a content descriptor, whichever is the view that you're looking at the time. This can all be exported as well in Excel, whatever the other data thing is that we have. So just standard downloads that you can make if you want to add this to your school reporting as well. So I suppose the key things that we're hoping that you'll take away today is that we have tried to structure this to make lesson planning as easy as it can be. Obviously, there's some planning and some customization that every teacher will want to do for their students, and we would encourage that. We love the effort that teachers put into this kind of thing, but we do hope that we've made it as easy as possible and have simplified a lot of that admin work of the reporting, of customizing for differentiation and for putting together printable resources. It's all there, it's all ready to go for you. We've got a huge range of activities, not just with all the different downloadable resources that I've just talked about. There's so many more in our print book as well. There's so many investigation opportunities, both practicals in the lab, but also secondary source investigations, so researching online, classroom activities, at-home activities students can do. We'd be here all night if we tried to list through all of it. So yeah, we're really excited about it, and we do hope that you'll want to reach out with any more questions that you have.